Hello everybody, welcome back to another great session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr, and boy, I've got a very unique beer for you guys tonight. This one in particular is called the Duchesse de Bourgogne, and it comes from the Flanders region of Belgium. And the reason why I think this is such a unique beer is that it's a unique style that not many people are aware of, when it comes to beer. This is actually known as a Flanders sour ale. So as the name suggests, it is quite sour. It's not like chewing on like a sour candy or anything like that. But it does have a unique flavor that I don't think many people are used to. Now, beers like this typically don't have a lot of IBUs, which is just an acronym for International Bittering Units, and that usually tells you how bitter a beer is. Sour ales are very low in IBUs, but they are quite sour. Now let's go ahead and pop this one open. I do want to tell you first of all, before we open it, that the ABV on this, or the alcohol by volume, is 6.2%. So not a lot of alcohol, but I think that's probably to be expected in a sour beer. So with that said, let's go ahead and pop the top on this one. And as always, I'll save my caps. I'm going to make some magnets out of those later and maybe give those to some of my friends at work. They can put them on their file cabinets. I may hang some pictures on the fridge of my family and friends. So anyway, let's go ahead and pour it. Pretty excited to have this beer, to be honest with you. It's been probably a month or two since I've had a sour ale. The fact that it's really starting to get cold here in Kansas City kind of made me think, what can I drink that might be suiting for cold weather aside from a big imperial stout. I've actually been having a lot of imperial stouts lately, and so tonight I wanted to kind of go in a new direction. So that's what we're going to do with the Duchesse. So taking a look at it right off the bat, this is just gorgeous color. It's like a dark ruby red color, and it's pretty clear. There's not a lot of haze on this one, and that's probably due to the fact that there really isn't, if any, amount of hops in this beer. So really, really gorgeous color. When you pour this and you hold it up to a light, you're going to see probably one of the most beautiful colors of a beer that you've ever had. Now, the head on it is a really nice, warm, I won't say tan, it's more of an off-white color. Not too bad. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere either, so that means there's really good head retention on it as well. Again, I've given it just a couple of swirls, and you can see really good, maybe 2 inches of head on there, which is actually really good. And again, I say this all the time, but it really is true. When you use a tulip glass, it really does push those aromas out of the glass. So I can already start to smell this before I even start to stick my nose in it. The smells that are coming out of this are just beautiful. I get really dark, ripe cherries, almost like sour cherries, excuse me. I get a little bit of oakiness, because this beer is aged in oak, and I think it's for 12 to 18 months. So it really does kind of take on some of that oaky quality. Let's give it another smell. Yeah, I definitely get a lot of cherries. There's almost, and this is pretty traditional with a Flanders sour ale, I do get a bit of like a vinegary sort of smell, almost like a red wine vinegar. I think I'm probably going to pull a lot of that out in the taste as well. There's a touch of vanilla in there as well. I'm getting just a faint amount of vanilla. Boy, it's really kind of an intense smelling beer. Now, I will tell you, this beer also comes in a huge 750 milliliter bottle. I will warn you against buying that unless you know you can drink the whole bottle by yourself in either one or two settings, or if you have some friends coming over that will like the beer and will be able to share that with you. A beer of this style, for me personally though, I prefer to get these little, I think it's probably 11.2 fluid ounce size bottles. I think it's just enough for one sitting. And anything past that, it really kind of starts to be a little bit much. So anyway, let's go ahead and taste this one. I get an immediate punch of the sourness. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not a sour that is off-putting, though I think if you're expecting a beer-like flavor when you try this, it's probably going to throw you off. My suggestion in this case is to take a second sip, take a third sip, in between those, give it a little swirl, smell it, really kind of familiarize yourself with the flavors, because this really is a good beer. Let me give it another sip. I really like this a lot. Now, you will read a lot of people saying that this tastes like balsamic vinegar. I tend to somewhat disagree with that, although I see what they're saying. To me, this is more of a, and don't laugh, it's more of a red wine vinegar. So yeah, you still have the vinegar in there. But this isn't as, I guess, tangy as a vinegar. It's almost, actually, I'll tell you what it is. It's like having a really good red wine vinaigrette where you've got the oil and you've got other things in there to kind of balance out the acidity. I think the acidity in this is actually really nice. In fact, I've only had maybe a handful of sour ales, and to this day, the Duchesse de Bourgogne is still one of my favorites. I usually try to buy one or two of these at a time, and I'll leave them right back here in my cellar room where I, have the temperature brought down a little bit, and I kind of keep everything on the floor in boxes, excuse me, just to, kind of let those stay at a good temperature. So, but anyway, I know it's a unique style. For a lot of you, you're probably saying, you know what, I'm not so into beers that taste like vinegar. Just trust me, this is a really, really good beer. If you go online, do a little bit of research, you're going to see that most everybody who drinks this is rather surprised with how good it is. It also gets pretty high scores on some of those websites out there like Rate Beer, Beer Advocate, things like that. So again, part of my goal with this show is to really kind of get you to try beers that maybe you normally wouldn't try. This is only 11.2 ounces, like I said earlier, so it's not going to kill you. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it again. And maybe, sour beers aren't your thing. I'm not going to say that I don't get that, because to be honest with you, the first time I had a sour ale, it really wasn't what I expected. So keep trying. Try these beers. If they're remotely good to you, do some research online. Find out what some of the other sour beers are out there that get really good scores, and try some of those. And maybe eventually you'll find one that you really, really like. For me, this is one that I really, really like. So I try to have, like I said, a couple of these on hand at any time. That way, if I'm feeling in the mood for a sour ale, I'll grab one of these. Really, really good beer. So anyway, just a quick note before I go. I'm now on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll usually post that I've, uploaded a new session of the Hopry. You can kind of see what I'm doing. If you're on YouTube, you can look me up as well. I'm sure that you're probably seeing this video via YouTube anyway. Make sure you click on that subscribe button. That way, whenever I get a new video posted, you'll actually get an email, and then that way you'll be able to go out and watch those. But anyway, if you're on Twitter, my name is The Hopry, and that's all one word. So if you can go out there and follow me, you'll get to see whenever I've uploaded a new video. So anyway, once again, my name is Mark Starr, and thank you for coming back for another session of the Hopry.